Hello, Mindset Recovery friends. This is Roberto. It is May 9th, 2024. Yesterday, I celebrated 2 years in recovery. Have not gotten high or drank or gotten drunk or acted out with porn or a lot of the other things that I struggled with for over 35 years. I did drink one beer 9 months ago. So technically in the 12-step program of NA, which I participate, I am not clean for 2 years. But hey man, I'm doing good. I'm doing this thing. And at 35 years I've been trying to put it down, and I've been in and out of 12-step recovery. And I currently am still going to NA. I do service work. I work steps with a sponsor. I go to meetings. I also participate in another 12-step program at my church, which is faith-based. It's called Celebrate Recovery. I've been going there since 2008. I remember going to meetings and then leaving a little bit early so that I could hit the ABC store on the way home. I was still smoking weed. I went back and forth from AA to NA because in my addict brain, if I went to AA, I could still smoke weed. And if I went to NA, I could still drink alcohol. That is in my brain because that is not what those fellowships subscribe to. But that was the whole problem. For 35 years, I was doing it Roberto's way, and it was not working. And so I had a stroke back in 2019 at the age of 53, ended me up in the hospital. I thought this is it, man. This is my rock bottom. I know I can't keep doing this stupid crap again. So now I'll be able to just muster all my strength and self-will, and I'll be able to quit doing this stupid stuff I've been doing for over 3 decades. That wasn't the case. Found myself, I was unable to drive. I had a stroke. They took my license, lost my job. I was a chef, been to culinary school, was working at a country club when I had my stroke. So I didn't have any income, living off credit cards. And, pandemic, I was, drinking a lot more than I had been because I was bored and scared and had a bunch of self-pity. And so it ramped up my use of alcohol. And, I don't know about you, but when I pour alcohol in my system, all bets are off. And what I really want is harder drugs. I like to say I didn't like hard drugs. I like soft, powdery ones. And, you get a few drinks in me, man, and it's off to the races. I was calling Ubers. I was going up to the bar. I was buying dope. I was coming home and doing it. And I'm like, what in the freaking world is going on with me, man? I already know I'm going to die if I don't quit this crap. And so I realized that I was going to have to, let me turn this phone off because it will not shut up. Anyway, I realized that if something didn't change, that I was going to be dead. I had made it 35 years of using. I wouldn't say successfully, but I wasn't dead yet. I had a 16-year-old son, and was broke. Ended up having to claim bankruptcy, and I was like, man, I got to do something about this. So, I went to outpatient rehab, and they gave me some accountability. Had to take drug tests. I couldn't drive. They were coming and picking me up and bringing me there. I was intensive outpatient, so it's like IOP, 5 days a week. And that was the only thing I had going for me at the time. They would come picking me up, taking me there. I was spending the whole day. They were giving me a ride home. Worked my way through the outpatient rehab with lesser and lesser levels of care. Got introduced to naltrexone there. I had never heard of it. People in the rooms, a lot of them hate on any kind of medical assisted treatment or MAT. I get it. You're not clean if you're still using. I understand that. What I know is I saw a lot of people in there was mostly Suboxone, people in there for opiates and stuff like that. So what I know is if you are a junkie and you are, homeless or whatever, you barely making it, going to die soon, not working, don't have any money, spending, doing things that are against your principles to get money so that you can get one more. And you get introduced to a substance that if you take it and you're compliant with your treatment, that you don't have to chase one more every day. You get a job, you're not living behind a dumpster and killing yourself, whatever, you become a productive member of society. You can actually work on recovery. I've seen people be successful with it. There are people who abuse it, of course. The naltrexone, the FDA said, you take it once a day and you don't drink. Well, that's great. If I could not drink, I would not need naltrexone. So there's a method called the Sinclair method that I researched, and actually naltrexone is like an opiate blocker. What I learned from taking naltrexone, I always thought that I was drinking alcohol for the buzz, and I just liked it so much that I just had to increase that buzz until I passed out. But what I found out when I started taking naltrexone is that my body was wanting alcohol for the dopamine, and so when that dopamine hits my brain, I never get enough of that. So then I would drink and drink and drink, and pass out, feel like ass the next day, whatever, was killing my liver. So when I was on the Sinclair method, what that said was it wasn't, naltrexone was not going to be effective. In fact, they said that it was only effective in 10% of people that were taking it that stopped drinking. But for people who were still drinking on the therapy, now, I'm not a doctor, I'm just telling you what I read. People who were still drinking on naltrexone, it had like an 80% success rate. And that's because what had happened for me was, I controlled the amount that I drank by getting that amount. I would decide before I started drinking that I'm only going to drink 6 beers or 3 beers or 10 beers, whatever. And that's all I would have. So when it was gone, then presumably I would go to bed. Now, sometimes that worked. Sometimes I was driving my drunk self up to the store to get more alcohol. It was a crapshoot. But with naltrexone, when I started taking naltrexone, the first time I did it, I had been making it about 30 days at a time in outpatient rehab. They required me to do some sort of accountability. So 12-step programs was one of the things that I could do to get out of there. And after I'd been in work my way all the way through, I mean, I don't know how long it was, but probably close to a year, I was ready to be done. And so got the naltrexone, started going to AA meetings, got a sponsor, still couldn't drive. But now I had people in the program that were willing to drive me to meetings. And the way the naltrexone worked for me was the first time that I drank on it. You're supposed to take it an hour before you start drinking, let it get in your system, eats food. Um, I got off work, whatever. I don't remember what I did, but I came home. I got a 6-pack of my favorite beer, which I like strong beer. I like microbrew. So I got me a 6-pack of some beer. It was around Christmas time. Had a steak, came home, set my timer for an hour, took my naltrexone, ate my steak, and settled in. And I was going to smash me a 6-pack because, a 6-pack of strong beer was nothing for me. You got to get buzzed. But I literally drank 2 of them, caught a buzz, and didn't want to drink anymore. Now that's not how Roberto works. Roberto is just getting started at 2 beers. So obviously I wasn't drinking for the buzz because, I continued to drink after I caught a buzz. But this particular time, I drank my 2 beers and I went to bed. Now it was Christmas time. So I always drank at Christmas and New Year's and on my birthday and, days that end in Y and whatever excuse I had. But I always got the good stuff at Christmas. So I went to bed and then that beer sat in my refrigerator until New Year's a week later, which is unheard of for me. So New Year's, I'm like, okay, we're going to do this again. Took my naltrexone. I think I had another steak. Um, and I'm like, I am going to get drunk because it's New Year's and that's what I'm going to do because that's what I've been doing for 35 years. And that's just how it works. And so I started drinking my beers. I think I drank 3 of them. So that 6 pack, it sat in my refrigerator. I drank 2 of them, sat in my refrigerator a week, drank 3 on New Year's, went to bed. From that point on, I think it was a couple more months after that I did my naltrexone thing, drank a couple beers here and there, and then I just didn't want to drink anymore after that other 6 pack was gone or the whichever whatever. I just said, you know what, I don't feel like drinking. So I didn't take naltrexone anymore and I just didn't drink. And that changed my relationship with alcohol. So, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I can't prescribe it for you, but for my friends who are addicted to alcohol to the point where they got to go to detox because they have physical problems, seizures, whatever, I don't even know. It's a bad scene. Alcohol will kill you. If you've been drinking it for a long time and you're physically addicted and you just stop all of a sudden, it's not a good situation. From what I understand, um, that detox is the deal. So you got medical people there that can help you with that. But the thing with the naltrexone is, since you can still drink on it, you won't have those physical effects. But presumably over time, there's channels on YouTube that I've watched, and these are people that were drinking like lots of alcohol daily for years. That over a period of time, they call it pharmaceutical extinction. They got to the point where, some people still wanted to drink, so then they take their naltrexone and go out to the bar or have a bottle of wine with their spouse, significant other, and just they could have 1 or 2 and be good. But most people, they want to be free of that monkey on their back, and so they just got to the point where they didn't feel like drinking anymore. So the way that I believe that it works is, addiction for me is a mental and spiritual disease, and I tried to treat that by pouring dope on it. And in the beginning, when I was a teenager and I had a lot of anxiety and trauma and crap going on in my life, that seemed to be an effective strategy. I started smoking marijuana when I was about 14, drinking on the weekends, and started selling marijuana, and found out that I could get mine free and make money. And a drug dealer was born. Kept doing that, and so I started smoking pot every day. I was a wake and baker for 30 some years. When I got to be in my 50s, I started doing it. I was still selling, so I had it, but it was more of a social thing. Girls would come over, women, I call them girls because they weren't 10. Okay. They were of age, but they were female. So they were girls, but they'd come over to smoke my weed and get me to buy them some alcohol, and I'd smoke pot. They'd roll up a big fatty and we'd get high and do what we do. But, that was more of a social thing for me. The alcohol was, I drank alcohol. I didn't drink to the point where I would consider it to be out of control till I had my stroke, because then I was stuck in my house and self pity and depressed, and I've screwed my life up. What have I done? I had a stroke. I can't work anymore. Oh, pour me another drink. That kind of thing. But so, when I decided that I had to get clean and I got off the alcohol, the weed wasn't a really big deal for me. I had to quit selling it though, because even though the weed wasn't a big deal for me, having money for me is a trigger. And, I'd get up, a few $100, and then go buy drugs. So I had to quit everything. I had to change everything in my life, had to immerse myself in this program, had to work steps, had to work with a sponsor, had to go to meetings. And then it took me 2 years to get off of everything. And then 2 years ago, I stopped. And like I said, I did drink one beer during that time period at like 15 months clean. And in NA, one is too many and 1,000's never enough. So I had to reset my clean date. But I have not been drunk or high in 2 years. I was unable to work as a chef because of my stroke. So I went back and got a certificate for a peer support specialist, and it's just been amazing. I did not realize it was going to be a work from home job, but my boss gave me a computer for a work computer and told me that I could work from my house, and I could only work part time because I'm on disability. But I got my disability. It took me 5 years to get it, paying off debt from where I claimed bankruptcy. So I don't have a ton of money, but I do get to pay this debt off. And it's going to be 5 years from whenever they decided the time started. They're taking most of that money. But my life is better today. I can drive. I got a car. It's not I'm not driving a Mercedes. I got an old beat up, beater, but I mean it runs. It gets me where I need to go. I don't have to drive to work. I make enough money to pay my bills. I'm helping other addicts in the program. Um, I am an accountability partner for people. I chair meetings. I do the hotline for Narcotics Anonymous. I've done H&I, where you go into facilities and help people that are in a detox situation, give them some experience, strength, and hope, invite them to a meeting, kind of tell them your life story in a brief synopsis. But my life is completely different today. My 16-year-old son is now 19. I don't know if you've ever dealt with 19-year-olds, but they can be challenging. But he told me the other day, he started off very skeptical. He said, NA is a cult, and it's a collectivist personality, and they were brainwashing you and blah blah blah. And I mean, I get where he's coming from with that. I disagree with his assessment. I know a lot more about 12-step recovery than he does. But I needed to be brainwashed if it's brainwashed, because my brain was all kinds of screwed up and my thinking was screwed up. And I believe that you are transformed by the renewing of your mind. And I got to put something new in there. I got to change hurts, habits, and hangups. If I'm getting high, I need to stop getting high. If I'm hanging out with people that have drugs, I need to stop doing that. If I'm going to bars, I need to stop doing that. If I'm hooking up with chicks that are half my age, I need to stop doing that. They suggest in recovery in the rooms that you stay out of a relationship for the first year minimum. Not everybody follows that advice. What I know is that my life is unmanageable all by myself. Now, put another person in there, that makes my life more unmanageable. Also, I need to be very hyper focused on changing my behavior and finding a new way to live. And women distract me. I don't know about you. Opposite sex distracts me. I'm not focused on me. I'm focused on making them happy. I might be focused on me because I'm trying to get them in the bedroom, but my motives are bad. Um, the only chicks that I was hooking up with all did drugs. So, if I'm hanging out with them, I'm going to be doing drugs eventually. They're going to get me high before I get them clean. So, I had to change everything in my life, and I have. So, you know, I I I needed some discipline. NA gave me the discipline. Like I said, Celebrate Recovery is a faith based program. I had a higher power coming into this thing. I've been in church since I was young. Thought that I was good to go. Thought that I read the Bible. I gave money to church. I went to church. I was good. But here I was, living two lifestyles. You know, getting high, dealing drugs, drinking alcohol, hooking up with young women, having inappropriate relationships people I wasn't married to. So I wasn't living the lifestyle that the church, preaches for you to live. And that's because I couldn't do it. I was trying to do everything in self will. And now that I have turned my life over to a power greater than myself, which and AA taught me how to do, I wasn't able. They say that religion and psychiatry and medicine is something that we sought to stop using, but it was insufficient. So insufficient means that those things could be good. If I need outside help, if I got to go to a therapist, which I do, if I want to go to church, Bible study, whatever, I can do that. But it wasn't helping me stay clean. And so when I got into the program and I started to do it the way that the program teaches, that gave me the discipline. The 12 steps, in my opinion, their character development. They helped me change my life. They helped me live spiritual, not religious principles. But if my principles that are spiritual are also religious to me, and I can't follow them because I'm trying to do it in my own power, I got the discipline through the 12 steps and working the program to get a connection with that power greater than myself. And then that gives me the power to do what I need to do because obviously I'm powerless. So, I mean, you can do this however you want. You don't have to have any particular higher power. NA teaches it's your higher power as you understand it. You get to pick your higher power. A lot of people come to the program pissed off at their higher power, their youth, or whatever. They got church hurts. Some knucklehead in church was a jerk to them. Maybe their parent was hard ass and beat them over the head with the Bible. Well, they're not going to want to have a higher power that's a tool because that's not going to help you. So you get to pick your higher power. It's loving, kind, got your best interest in mind, has the power to help you gain sanity. And then, it goes on from there. You grow in your understanding of your higher power and you turn your life over to that higher power that's got your best interest in mind. A lot of people, the programs are higher power, the other people's are higher power. You get to pick. And for me, I had a higher power of my youth, but I was very self-willed and my higher power worked for me and I wanted my higher power to sprinkle fairy dust on me and fix my situations and let me not get fired when I did stupid stuff at work and not get DUIs when I was coming home from the bar. And that's not how my higher power works, and I understand my higher power today, and my higher power does not want me to hurt myself or other people, and so using hurts me. So that is not my higher power as well. Now I have free will. If I want to get high, man, the ABC store is right up the road. I still know people that I used to buy drugs from. I can go do that. If I want to hook up with chicks half my age and buy them drugs, I have the right to do that. But I also know that that has not worked out well for me in the past. So today I have learned that if I want to stay clean, I have to work this program and celebrate recovery is a 12-step program. Just it came from AA. It's if you're a Christian and there's a CR near you, I highly recommend it. They all got the same higher power in there. To AA, awesome program, higher power of your understanding. NA, awesome program, higher power of your understanding. Um, if you are physically addicted to a drug and you need medically assisted treatment, hey man, you do what you got to do. I'm not a doctor, but I've seen it work. I've seen it abused. You can abuse anything. Addicts are really good at abusing stuff. We'll figure out a way to mess stuff up, but it's not going to help us stay clean. That's what I know. So, I am just I if I can be successful in this program and stop using drugs and drinking and being a knucklehead with women, quit watching porn. I'm working on character defects. I'm not perfect. I have to be honest. I have to have a person that I'm accountable to. When I drank that beer, I didn't have to tell anybody. But, I have character today. I have some integrity, and I was honest with my sponsor. And, he told me I had to pick up a white chip, and I did. So reset my recovery. I'll have a year clean in NA, and it's August the 21st. I only remember that because it's the day before my dad's birthday. But I'm gonna pick up that medallion in there. But in Celebrate Recovery Friday, I'm picking up a 2-year medallion because they know that I am in the program. I'm chairing meetings in there. I'm doing service. I'm helping other addicts in there, and 2 years of recovery. And I'm not practicing drunkenness. And they know that I show up and I do the work, and they want to celebrate with me 2 years. So that's awesome. Anyway, so this is Roberto. If you would like to get some resources, and I don't mean financial resources, but if you want to know information about any 12-step programs, you can email me at my personal email. If you put a message on this video, nobody follows me anyway, but if you put a message on here, who knows if and when I will see it. But if you send me an email at my personal email address, which is piaster67@hotmail.com. P is in Paul, I-A, S is in Sam, T is in tornado, ER67@hotmail.com. And you put mindset recovery or something of that nature in the subject line, I will get back to you. I will try to help you. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. I can't send you naltrexone. There's lots of videos on here about naltrexone if that's something that you think will help you. But I just suggest you go to a meeting of your choice, you pick up a chip, you surrender, and you do the deal. And it can work. An addict, any addict, can lose the desire to use and find a new way to live. That's the promise of freedom. I've seen it work. I've seen people go back out and die. I do know this: the drugs out there today ain't no joke, man. You might not make it back in here. So my suggestion is come back clean, work whatever program you need to work, and get some people in your life. Change the things about you that made you want to get high in the first place. You can lock somebody up in a room and they can't get high, but if they don't change the way they think, they're going to go back to that behavior. Because for me, it's the behavior that I did for 35 years, and it stopped working, and it was killing me. So, fight the good fight, and keep coming back. Thank you.